going to do the Unity setup now. First, I am going to create a folder. So when you create a project, you get this folder with all these subfolders, and inside the assets folder I created another folder called template. Basically what that is, it's whenever I create a new asset, I don't want to have to like create all these other subfolders all the time. It's got animations, materials, models, prefabs, textures. So I can just take this, copy and paste it, and I'll just name this one main character. So I'm going to open this up in the models. I'm going to go to my Blender project file folder, and this is where I'm going to drag and drop the default pose. In the animations, I'll get the idle walk run, paste those, and I want to grab the textures as well. So the beard normal, his teeth, eyes, his color, and his normal. So copy, paste. Okay, so if I go into my assets, everything's here now. First, I'm going to create game object, 3D game object, plane, set the transform to 0, and I'll make it really big, 50 by 50 by 50. And I'm going to create an empty object, and I'll call it main character. Again, transform 0, 0, 0, 0. I'll create another empty object called camera. Again, 0, 0, 0. And my main camera, if I can find it, I'll put it at 0 for now. First, what I want to do is I want to go into the models folder. I want to look at the model, and I have to go to rig, create avatar from this model, and apply. Another thing I have to do in model is so first I'll just drag and drop it into the scene. The transform to 0. If you look at it, doesn't look bad. I guess it already has, this is a very low poly model, but I guess it has like the auto smooth. So normals, I'm going to put to calculate, tangents, calculate legacy, and smoothing angle. I'll bump it all the way up, and I want to apply, and that smooths it even more. But that's fine. I'm just going to leave it. It looks okay. I'm going to go into the animations folder. I'm going to grab all of these animations and under the animations tab, loop time has to be checked, apply, because these are all, I don't walk around, they all loop. They're not just one-time actions. They're, if it's in idle mode, then it's constantly idling. If it's walking, then it's constantly walking. So I have to make sure that's done. This default pose is going to be parented under the main character, the empty object that I created, and the main camera is going to be parented under the camera empty object. So the camera can move back and up. That's a pretty good distance. So here's like a little preview here. I want to keep them visually. It's all about the action because I'm trying to make almost like a parkour game where he's like running around the environment and like climbing walls and like do wall jumping and wall running and things like that. So I want him to take up a good amount of space on the screen. I don't want him to be like too small because it's going to be boring to watch. The whole point of it is to make it like visually stimulating. So I want him relatively close to the camera. Oh, one other thing that I forgot, and I want to take care of this right now. So the template, I want to create a new folder called Animator, and I want to do the same thing for the main character. Folder, Animator, and in that Animator folder, I'm going to right-click, create Animator controller. So the main character animator. So we'll open that up. I'm going to right click, new blend tree, double click that to open it, and click on this, and this will open this thing in the inspector. So I need 3 of these motion fields, so add motion field, add motion field, add motion field. So the first I'll rename this to speed, and the first one is going to be idle, walk, run. So if I press play, he's idling, I slide this to 0.5, he's walking, and if I go all the way, he's running. Okay, so that looks good. So back in the scene, I'm going to select the main character, not the default pose, FBX, but the empty object. And I'm going to create an animator. So the animator controller, the avatar is going to be the main controller that I just created. And the controller is going to be the main character animator that I just created. I'm also going to create capsule, character controller. So here, I'm going to go to the side view, and the radius, I just need to resize it and reposition it. So I don't want to be too much bigger than the body, just a tiny bit bigger. Yeah, 0.16 is fine. The center, I'm going to move up just so that the bottom of it is hitting the floor and the top of it is hitting the head. And skin width by default is 0.08, but I'm going to make it the lowest possible, which is 0.01. Otherwise, it's going to like keep a distance between his feet and the ground, which I don't want. Oh, I forgot another thing. I'm going to take care of it right now before I forget. I create a folder called scripts, and I'm going to do the exact same thing for the template folder. So there's a scripts folder in there. So if I open up that scripts folder, I'm going to create two scripts. I'm going to right click, create C# script. This will be let's call it main character, and I'll create one more called camera. So I'm going to open both of these up. Open up the camera script. Okay, with both those open, I'm going to quickly, before I forget, I'm going to select the player, and I'm going to drag and drop the script onto the player. Then I'm going to grab the camera, and then I'm going to, not the camera, but the camera parent, which is the empty object, onto there. I'm going to drag and drop the camera script. But first, before I do any more scripting, I'm going to create two materials. Create, where am I? Create material. Main character matte. Create another material. Beard matte. So the albedo, which is the color, is going to be this one. The normal map is going to be this. I think smoothness. First of all, I'll go over here. Materials, body color matte. I'm just going to, this material that I just created, I'm going to drag and drop right here. And then apply. But as you can see, the smoothness has to be 0, otherwise it's going to be shiny. And I believe that the normals that I created are the opposite of what I want. So -1. think it looks better without the normal. I was hoping that it would, actually I want to throw it back in. Put the normal back in. And instead of making it -1, I'm going to put it to, I'll try -0.3. That was very subtle. The beard, the color is going to be, oops, the albedo is going to be the beard color. The normal is going to be the beard normal. And with the model selected, I'm going to drag and drop the beard material here. Make sure to hit apply. Got the same sort of problem where it's got to shine, so I have to make smoothness 0, and also the normal map is the opposite of what I want. It's in the opposite direction, so I have to make it -1. It's okay, I'll just leave it like that for now. So save project. Oh, I know what I did wrong. So with these selected, the texture type has to be normal map. Same with this one. So now I'm going to go back to the body. What happens if I make it -1? That looks a little bit better actually. I can start to see grooves. That way I don't have to like model all the muscles. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to save the project and also go to save as, and basically I'm saving this scene. So this is a sample scene right now, so I'll just save that. Okay, so I quickly oops, I changed the normals on the eye, so he's got his eye back. The normals were facing the wrong direction, and also I toned down the color of these dark lines. I thought it was too dark, but I think I'm going to redo the texture anyways. I don't mind the pale skin color, but I don't like the selection of color for the dark areas. I'm also going to add, like, instead of just having like gray, I'm going to have like more skin colors, like reds and oranges to make it darker. Right now it just looks really like super pale, and like just feels like there's like air conditioner dust like stuck everywhere. Doesn't look right. But anyways, right now I'm just going to work on the script. So I'm going to start with the main character. I'm going to start off by creating some variables. Private. I'm going to create a character controller, and I want to call it by the same name, except instead of using uppercase, I want to use lowercase for character. Same thing for private animator. I want to give it the name, same name, animator. And the start function to do character controller equals get components. Character controller. So basically what it's doing is it's grabbing, when I select the character, I created a character controller here, so basically it's grabbing this component and setting that as the value of this character controller. And I'm going to do the exact same thing for the animator. Equals get animator equals get components animator. Okay, and I'm going to go back up here and create a serialize field, float, walk, speed, serialize field, float, run, speed, and I would create a boolean called is running. So basically what this line does, serialize field, is if I compile it, go back in, I'm just going to wait it to load, to compile. That serialize field under the script creates these fields where I can adjust the values. So that's what that is. And for the boolean, you don't necessarily have to specify private or public. You can just put bool as running. So with that done, I'm going to go into the update function, and is running equals input dot get key code dot mouse 1. So because is running is a boolean, when the mouse 1, which is the right mouse button, is pressed, then is running, the boolean is set to true. But if it's not being pressed, then it's set to false. Just to let you know, mouse 0 is left mouse button, mouse 1 is right mouse button, and mouse 2 is middle mouse button. And right underneath that, I'm going to create a move. I'm going to trigger a move function. But first, I'm going to create a float. I'm going to call it get current speed. So return is it's running. Then it's run speed, but if it's not, so basically if it's asking if this is true, then get current speed is set to run speed, which is up here. And if it's not, if running is as false, then it's going to be walk speed. So current speed is walk speed. So because I created this move, reference to move function, I need to create the new function. So private void move. Whoops. Why does it do that? So basically what that's doing is because this is in the update, it constantly triggers this move, and it's basically triggering this constantly. So first thing is, first I should probably mention for anybody watching that has no experience with Unity, if you go into project settings and you go into input manager, you gotta press this little triangle under axis. So this has a bunch of presets. So horizontal is the name horizontal means the A for left or D for right, or you can use the left button or the right button. For the vertical, W for forward and S for backwards, or you could use the up and down button. And you got also a bunch of other ones like fire 1 is left control or mouse 0, like left mouse button. Fire 2, mouse 1. So you got all these presets, but for this one, for this particular thing that I'm scripting, I'm going to use, so I'm going to create a float called horizontal, and that float is going to be equal to input dot get axis horizontal. So basically this is referencing, like this horizontal right here, it's referencing this horizontal. So it's looking for an A or D input, or left or right button input. So horizontal times get current speed, which is this. Make that a capital G. So it's getting the direction and timesing it by the current speed and times time dot delta time. I'm going to copy and paste and do the same thing for the vertical. So basically, these are just setting these values. So I just created a float called horizontal, and I'm setting the value to this. And then right after that, I'm going to create a vector 3 dot move vector. So vector 3 called move vector equals new vector 3 horizontal zero and vertical. So I'm plugging this horizontal into here and this vertical into here. So basically, what the 0 is the up and down, because the character's not going to be moving up and down with this control. We're only worried about forward and side, which is what this is. Horizontal is the left and right, and vertical is the forward and backward movement. And we're creating a vector out of it. Move vector. And character controller dot move. So we created this character controller, which is referring to this character controller. So this little thing that we added, basically made by Unity to control the character. And this line of code, character controller dot move, it adds movement, and in the brackets we're specifying the movement, and we're going to specify this move vector right here. Okay, and I want to create another serialize field called float turn speed. And another one called serialize float and speed. And back under this this move function, this move method, animator set float speed. So what this is referencing is in this animator, which is this one, I'm referencing this speed. So if it's 0, it's idle, 0.5 is walk, and 1 is run. So animator set speed, set float speed, move vector equals vector 3 dot 0. So basically it's checking to see if this move vector is equal to 0. If it is, then this value is going to remain 0. If not, then it's going to check if is running is true. If it's true, then the value is going to be 1. If not, then it's going to be 0.5. And I'm going to plug in the anim speed and time dot delta time. I know what I did wrong. I need to get rid of this bracket. That's good there. Now I have to create a void rotate vector 3 move vector. So basically, I'm going to take this out first. Quaternion target. I'm creating a quaternion called target rotation, and it's going to be equal to quaternion dot look rotation move vector vector 3 dot up. Create another quaternion new rotation is going to be equal to quaternion dot color. Target rotation turn speed times time dot delta time. Transform that rotation equals new rotation. So basically what this is no matter where the camera's facing, if I press forward, for example, then the character is going to spin around in the forward direction. If I press right, then the character is going to spin around right in relation to where the camera is facing. So that's what all this stuff is. Now I need to trigger it. So underneath, back in this this move method, I'm going to create if move vector is not equal vector 3.0, or if basically if the character is not moving, then rotate move vector. So this line is what's triggering this, only if this condition is true. Okay, so what I've missed actually is transform rotation. Oops. Okay, so that's good. So I'm going to compile this. Go back in here. And as you can see, it's created these 4 fields. So these values are walk speed is 2, 5, turn speed is 5, and anim speed is 0.2, and I can adjust later. So if I hit play, so I can move around, but the camera's not moving. If I press the right mouse button, you can run. So everything looks fine. I just need to grip the camera now. So the camera script, I'll start off by creating variables. So serialize field. Oops. Serialize field. Transform player. Create two more serialized fields. Create a float called camera sensitivity. Float min y max y. Create a float called yaw. So I don't have to specify whether it's public or private. This is not going to be set outside of this. Float pitch. I'm going to create a vector 3 called current rotation. A vector 3 called rotation smooth velocity. So in the update function, I want to trigger a method called orbit player. And outside of the update, I'm going to create void orbit player. So because it's in the update, it's constantly triggering this orbit player. And I'm going to use this to control the camera. So the first piece of code is transform top position, where the position of the camera equals the player, because we have the player transform here. The position of the camera, not the actual camera, but the anti-object that it's parented to, is going to constantly be following the movement of the character. And then yaw plus equals input dot get axis mouse x. So I'm not too sure. Back into okay, mouse x. So it's tight mouse movement in the x-axis. So mouse x is just the name, and it's the setting the x-axis of the mouse movement. So mouse x times camera sensitivity times time dot delta time. I'm going to copy and paste. So this pitch value is going to be mouse y. So I'm basically setting this beyond pitch values with the whatever the input, whatever the user is doing with the mouse. I must forget what this part is for, but I added anyways. Math f dot clamp is pitch min y min x. So this next part is the part that sorry, this is max y. Max y. Okay, so this next part is the part that makes the camera orbit around the player without turning the player. So the player could be absolutely still, but if the user is moving the mouse around, then the camera moves with the mouse. So current rotation, which is this value right here at the top, equals vector 3 dot smooth damp current rotation new vector 3 minus pitch yaw. The reason why I'm using minus is because I want to flip the mouses forward and backwards. If I keep it just regular pitch, then it doesn't feel right. It feels more natural if it's flipped. Our ref, rotation smooth velocity. Rotation smooth time times time dot delta time rotation. I forgot one thing. So there has to be a rotation smooth time serialized field, and this is called rotation smooth time. And transform dot Euler angles equals current rotation. So I'm setting this value as the transform Euler angles of the camera. Okay, so I'm going to compile that back in the player. Right below here, I'm going to create another vector 3. This is going to be called relative. Actually, first I need to create another serialized field. It's going to be transform camera rig. So, sorry, vector 3, it's going to be called relative move vector. It's going to be equal to quaternion dot angle axis camera, oops, camera rig, which is the serialized field that I just created up here. Camera rig dot Euler angles dot y vector 3 dot up times move vector, which is this here. So I'm plugging that into this new one. So because I've created this new relative move vector, I need to change. Originally I had this move vector in 4 different spots here. Now I need to change all these to relative move vectors. So copy, paste this here, 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 and here. So I'm going to compile that. Okay, so I'm going to go back into Unity, and with the camera selected, if I did everything right, I just need to plug in these values. Camera sensitivity is 500, min y is minus 45, max y is 30, and rotation smooth time is 8. So if I go ahead play, then oh, I know what I did wrong. On the main character, I have a new field called camera rig. So I need to drag and drop the camera rig in here. Still not working. What's going on here? Oh, I have to drag and drop the player as well. So the main character goes into this field, which is this line of code, serialized field transform player. So it's asking for the object. So now if I walk, the camera moves along, and if I just say rotate the camera, just say he's facing him now, but if I press the W key, then he spins around and walks the other way. If I press left, then he turns left and starts walking. So it basically turns in relation to the camera. So if the camera's facing this way and I press left, press right, press down, forwards, and I can move the camera around freely. I'm quite happy with that. So basically, that's basically it for this video. Just wanted to do I just wanted to do a basic setup. So all the other videos from here on out is going to be all like parkour related stuff. So each video I'm going to tackle like one thing at a time. So I'll do like wall climbing, wall jumping, wall run, um, ledge climbing, um, scaling walls. So each video after this will be dedicated to like one little uh, I guess skill that this player can do in terms of interacting with the environment, because that's what the whole point of this game I think is going to be. I haven't decided whether I'm going to add any combat. So I'm in a good position now. Everything's like the base of everything's functional. So I just need to do all those things bit by bit until I have enough where I can put together an entire level. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that, and please stay tuned for more videos.